Hello, welcome to Global Take. Here we are back on a Thursday afternoon on School Rubric, and my name is Nick DeForest. It's been a month since I've been here in the driver's seat, but I am happy to be back for a little bit of a different show today. Coaching, it can be one of the most rewarding experiences you can have. But if you're a teacher at an international school, it can be a tough balancing act between teaching full-time and trying to fulfill all your coaching duties, especially with short seasons, athlete turnover, traveling, and more, and all of it for little or even no pay. So we want to talk a little bit about that today, and we have with us two coaches and two ADs. So let's get to our guests. Welcome, guys. Glad you're all here. I want to start with you, Megan. You can introduce yourself in a second. You are the returner on the panel, and you're also the only panelist with hair today. So tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, besides the fact that I have hair, I'm Megan Doherty. I'm coming from Bangkok, Thailand, where I'm a middle school learning sport teacher. I'm also the girls varsity basketball coach, and I've coached at 4 different international schools, both basketball and softball, and I'm excited to be here today.
Great. Thanks, Megan. Glad to have you back. Thomas, you are our next coach today, so why don't you go next, please?
Yeah, good morning from Budapest. My name is Tomás Pereira. I am Portuguese and I teach elementary physical education at the American International School of Budapest. And I also coach football or soccer, basketball and track and field. And I already coach and taught in 3 international schools.
Great. Well, thanks for taking a break from your teaching day today, and looking forward to having you on, but also being a colleague of mine next year in Vienna.
Yeah, so, looking forward to that.
Yeah. Okay, Mike, you and I are representing the ADs. Last guest to introduce yourself, please.
Thanks. Mike Denif. I'm currently in Dhaka, the Athletic and Activities Director at the American International School of Dhaka. And I'm excited about today. I'm really thankful, Nick, you brought me on because we've been virtual for a long time and I'm dying to talk to coaches again. This is my favorite thing. Coaches are my favorite people in the world.
Awesome. Well, perfect episode for you. And once we get through our discussion, we're going to hear more about you and your school in Dhaka, Bangladesh. You are our school spotlight today. So everyone stick around for that. Yeah. Before we get into the question, viewers, we're glad to have you with us. And I want to remind you, if you are watching live and you're on Facebook or YouTube right now, we would love to hear from you. So put a comment in. There we go. We got one from Todd. Todd, glad to have you with us again. If it's just a shout out like Mo right there, or a question for the panel after our 2 set questions, we can get to some of yours. So glad to have you guys with us, and yeah, keep writing in. Okay, let's get our conversation started. The first question is about motivation and morale, and it comes to us from a good friend of mine in Vienna and coaching colleague, Molly Bearwager. Let's hear it.
I'm Molly Berwager here in Vienna, Austria, and I have a question for everyone. We know that international school coaching positions can have long hours, often with little to no compensation. So ADs, how are you able to keep morale and motivation high with your coaches? And coaches, how important are the messages that you receive from your AD for your morale and motivation?
Awesome. So there you see our little bit of a different format for today. We got a 2-part question, some directed just at the coaches, and that's where we want to go first. So Thomas, yeah, how do you see the role of the AD for your morale and motivation?
Yeah, well, I must say that the only time that I've actually had the chance to work with an athletics director was now here at my current school. So, and like many other teachers around the world, I had to do all the work. Email to parents, organizing buses, sometimes even coaching big teams with a wide range of ability level all by myself. And I'm very lucky this year to have Matt Fleming as my AD, and the first time ever that I have an AD, and to have an AD to support me. And in my humble perspective, apart from dealing all with that paperwork and emails and providing quality time for coaches, I also think that ADs have an incredible role as aligning the why or the philosophy of the coach with the philosophy of the school. It's very important that the coach and the way that the coach thinks and interacts with students are aligned with the school. And also, I really think that to keep the motivation high, it's like should have like an individual conversation on how can I support you for you to do your best in making sure that the kids have a meaningful experience.
Yeah, wow, that's great. Yeah, support. That's the main thing. A great message there, Thomas. And good shout out to Matt Fleming as well. Megan, what about you?
Well, there's a couple things that I can totally relate with Tomas, like just the fact of like ADs taking away all like the behind the scenes work really helps a lot with morale. I've had a mix of both before, and I find that my morale is the highest when ADs just expect me to coach. That they say to me, I just want you to do whatever you need to do for your team. Like, I don't want you to have extra. I already know that this is extra. Like, just that acknowledgement, right? Like acknowledging that we are actually like coaches. A lot of us are coaches second, right? Like we're teachers first and coaches second. So they just like acknowledging that fact is huge. And then just saying, let me take some things off your plate. And then those words of encouragement, being present is huge. Like they know what kind of coach I am. They have those constant conversations with me. What do I need for my team? You know, that individuality piece is really important. And I would say like it definitely like plays the biggest role in terms of like what I need for my morale during the coaching season.
Yeah, it is a tough balancing act, right? For coaches. That's it, back and forth. So anything else added on just makes it tougher. Mike, our part of the question, you know, how do you try to keep morale high with your coaching staff?
Well, I think it's really important that we make sure that the coaches know we have their back in all ways. And it starts with, I think Tomas and Megan both mentioned it, it's conversations and clear expectations. You lay out what's expected in the program, and then continue the conversations throughout the year so they don't feel like they're on an island alone.
Right. Yeah, that's where I struggle. If you want to get all this info out, you know, but you can't bombard with emails. But like you guys all just said, individual conversations, you know, are so important. So depending on the size of the school and the coaching staff, you know, what should be an email to everybody, what should be an individual conversation is very tough. I think one other piece that I saw it pop up there, I think it was from Todd, but you know, some gear, some support, some extra little perks is something we've tried to do over the past 5 years. And you know, our partnership with Kukri has been great. Always a new piece of merchandise. Obviously, it's not the most important thing. Thomas, you mentioned philosophy and aligning and support, but a little bit of icing on the cake. Mike, I think you have something to add about that for sure.
Well, the way, you know, the gear and the swag, and like we do pep rallies where we blow the coaches out and talk them up, you know, supporting the program, talking about the program, not just the coach, which makes the coach feel like they're special. It's making them feel special. They are special. You know, right. We have so much gratitude for coaches because otherwise we can't do our job and we can't, but making them feel special in whatever ways we can is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, my one point is support. As Thomas, you started it off, I'll maybe finish this section of saying that that's the most important thing. We're there to support, and not just with the, you know, the paperwork, but, you know, having your back, as you mentioned, and knowing if you have a problem with a student, you know, come to us. If you have a problem with a parent, you know, direct them to us first, right? We're looking at the whole program as a whole and can really have your back, because whether you're getting paid or not, you're not getting paid enough to be working all night and dealing with all sorts of other things. And it should be fun for coaches as well, right? You know, the student turnover, you're out there trying to maybe forget your school day at practice, just like the kids are, you know, so you should have a fun time and not be bogged down with all sorts of things. So that's the goal. Maybe it doesn't always come out that way, but knowing that that's the goal that we have, I think is important. Great.
I might just add also that our interaction with the students and with our athletes, it's 80% of what's going to make that experience meaningful as well, because we are spending too much time with them. However, our mental state is going to determine all our interactions, right? And if we are bombarded with talking to parents and more stuff in our list of priorities, our mental state when we are actually dealing with the athletes are going to get all fragmented instead of all the space being used wisely into that quality interactions.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Okay, well, we saw a lot of comments pop in, and I know everybody watching is already following and liking all the content from Global Take and School Rubric. But just a little bit of an ask, share it with your colleagues. Share the word, share the links. Lots of great shows coming every week. So like, follow, but also share. And connect with us, either on social media, email. If you want to be a guest, like these three great guests today, then let us know. Or if you have an idea for a topic, okay? So question 2, coming from a past guest and a future host of the show coming up in a few weeks, Dave Horner. Let's hear from him.
Hi, Global Take. This is Dave Horner from the International School of Belgrade. And my question for the panel is, we all want to get the best out of our coaches so that our students have the best possible experiences. So specifically for ADs, what strategies, programs, or professional development have you used to ensure that coaches are delivering the philosophy of the program? And for the coaches, can you find the time for coach-specific development with so many other teaching demands that you already have? Thank you.
Yeah, great question. About a lot of what we kind of hit on before, the timing and all the demands. So Mike, would you start us off? What do you use in Dhaka?
So we follow a lot of the PCA ideas, the Positive Coaching Alliance, double goal coaching and things like that. But I think the key with professional development, and we understand this, and Megan mentioned it, this is their second thing. It's something they love to do, but they have a job that they get paid a lot more money for. And so we have to make the onboarding of any PD as easy as possible for them. So I try and front load it, give them stuff during the summer that they might want to, that they can look at if they want to, just to kind of when they have free time, or early before the school year starts, and boil down any kind of information I give them into the main point, and share with them all the other stuff too, but so they don't have to spend all that time digging through it to find the keys that are key to our school.
That's great. Yeah, that's a great point. A bit of a filter, right? Megan, what about you and your busy schedule? Can you find the time for coaching things?
Well, yeah, I talked about it before that finding the balance is hard, but like, as Mike just said, like we're coaches because we're passionate about it and we love it. And so for me, every year I kind of do my own like personal, like professional development. I'm like, okay, how can I be a better coach this year? And so I start to think about, my areas of weakness, because obviously I'm not the perfect coach, but I try to do some self-searching in that sense, set some personal goals for myself. Oftentimes I'll share that with my AD and say, this is stuff I want to look out for. This is stuff I want to work on. Like, if you could help me with this. And so Mike's idea of like the specific areas like is really helpful. I mean, there's so many things out there. There's like, we get like PD opportunities online. Like our AD here is really great about sending out information about different professional development to specific to basketball. For me, specific for basketball or other sports. And while that's helpful, but even to get more specific than that would be really helpful. But I do find that like if you love it enough, like you'll find the time, you'll figure it out, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Thomas, how about you?
Well, it is challenging, and I totally agree with Megan and Mike. And in piggyback on that, I believe that the teachers are focused in developing their teaching skills. And if we are teachers and coaches, we are involved in that. and engaging sometimes with PD opportunities with specific teaching purposes, right? Well, I'm lucky that my teaching and my coaching philosophy are strongly connected. And better yet, it's the same. So it's growth, right? So when you look into that idea and thinking about what are your weaknesses as when you are teaching kids how to grow, like Megan was saying, you want to look for PD opportunities. And I think that in that sense, also the AD, like Mike was saying, they have an important role on that. One thing that I would add would be the possibility of the AD actually observe coaches in the school. They identify strengths and areas of improvement of the coaches in the school community. Because right now I feel that here in my school there are so many resources. The teachers know so much, and some of these guys or girls and female and male teachers can teach me so much, and we can have like PD opportunities in our school. If only we have like a critical friend or another human resource that we can go to, like a buddy, so we can share what we are struggling with, and we can also collect feedback from.
Yeah, that's great, right? It doesn't have to be a set program from somewhere. It's in our own building, job alikes with our own coaches, and sharing is great. Mike, you wanted to add, please.
Well, I was just going to say from the AD perspective, and it's something I've tried to do, it's not as easy to do, but the whole coaching staff becoming a team in and of itself. So that they're all working together and you have professional conversations, not just coach to me, but amongst the coaches. So putting things together like WhatsApp groups for the coaches, or just ways that they can all kind of share in that experience. I think it speaks to what Thomas says, like being able to have bigger conversations.
Right. And that's it. When you talk about educational philosophy for the whole school and your whole program, they really do need to be all aligned, and you want them to be aligned, right? You want the student that's on the soccer team to have the same kind of experience and to be taught the same kind of philosophy as the basketball team and the softball team. And some schools with coaches coaching, across different seasons and in the building, it's a lot easier than, schools with more outside coaches coming in. And, you guys hit on all the things that I'm constantly thinking about is, how much is too much? And if I can get the coaches a few things, what do I focus them on, right? Because there's, self-reflection pieces, Megan, like you mentioned, and, skills development and all sorts of things. So what can I give? What's going to be most impactful? Because I only have a limited window of time. One thing that we focused on this year, and thankfully the pandemic has helped, was the coaches have all taken the NFHS 4 core courses, or almost all of them. And that was, luckily we had a bit of time, let's say last March, April, May, when we were home. And a lot of them got up to that level, and now that's going to be an expectation. But with any expectation, we're flexible. You don't have to have it right now, get it done. You have to work on it and maybe set a goal for yourself of when you're going to finish, right? Mike, please go right ahead.
The one thing in there is you talk about the ADs and are wanting to get stuff out to people. It's really important, and this goes back to the conversations and the relationships. Our business is a relationship business, right? Know thy coach. Some coaches want a lot of stuff. Some coaches don't want a lot of stuff. And that we as ADs, we have to balance that line. It's not their job to fit what we want. We need to figure out what they need to be their best selves and try and help them do that.
Yeah. I've actually found that as I've been coaching across numerous schools and with different ADs, I'm just better off telling my AD explicitly, like, this is what I need from you. So I've learned over the years, like, these are like certain things, like, I'm like, I would rather you over communicate to me like that. And that's specific to me. So I just found that early on in a relationship with an AD, I'm just better off saying, like, these are what I need from you. And then, like, right back at you. And then you just tell me what you need from me. But like, to be explicit with that just helps with the relationships, helps with the success of not just me, but my team as well, and my girls, right? That's who at the end of the day, that's who we're here for, is for the kids, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And, having some option where it's not mandatory, I do a newsletter, and I try to put lots of links and different articles that may be of interest. And I have coaches that write back to everyone and say, wow, that was really great. I read this. And I have coaches that write back every once in a while, and some that never do. And that's fine, but it's there. It's a resource. If you have some time, here's something cool. If not, it's okay. Yeah. Great. Well, there's some great people watching, and a couple of questions came in. I think we want to go to one right now, if we can cue that up. And it's a little different than what we were talking about. It focuses on school leaders from a great school leader up in the Chicago area, Charles Williams. So how do we think that leaders in our school can better support the ADs and the coaches? Someone want to start first? What would you want from your school leader?
I think a lot of it's the same as what we give to the coaches, like being present, being aware, knowing the program, knowing what we're trying to do, and authentic acknowledgement of the space that athletics takes up in the school and the importance of athletics in the school. I think that if that message gets down to us that are doing the dirty work for it, we feel a lot better about all the time that we put in.
Right.
Well, I can also add up with the mission philosophy, because the school director should be the person that can make sure that the mission of the school can really go over boundaries. And coaching is definitely one way that people can teach about the school mission and can be aligned with the philosophy of everybody present.
Yeah, I just want to add to Mike's, hit that whole being present part is so important. I mean, they may not even realize it, but at a lot of the different schools I've been to, the kids notice that, and that means something to them. Right? And it's not just for me, it's more for the kids. At our games, we have big tournaments coming up, and they want to see their leadership team. They want to see their principals there. They want to see the head of school there, and so I think that's a really big piece, is just to show up, right? It's small but huge.
And just to add on, and I think to always acknowledge the fact that the athletics and activities are just such a huge part of our students' lives, and that they should be talked about, and scheduled just like any class or curriculum, because that's what the kids remember. That's what sometimes the kids come to school for, even in our international schools, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we have time for one more question that we're going to see here in a second. It's about buy-in and aligning philosophies to the schools when you're not a school faculty member, right? So you guys are all faculty members, teachers. We talked about that, but how about the outside coach, right? Like, maybe you want to kick us off as the other AD on the panel. What do you do differently for non-faculty members?
So in my experience, I've mostly been in schools where I get people from the community, from the faculty. And every once in a while, there may be a parent that has special skills that we'll bring in, but rarely do I have to hire from outside. But I think the thing is, you have to have your true north, what the program is about. And if you're having someone that's not a part of that every day, you're going to have to work with them more. That's the know that I coach thing. They're not going to just get it. You've got to give it to them a lot more in very specific ways than you would for someone who's part of your faculty.
Right. Thomas, if I can go to you, because I know you played club and high-level soccer and coached club soccer as well. That's where some of the outside coaches come from, right? From a club level experience. So what do you think about that?
It's very good. It's a good point. And what Mike is actually saying right now, people from outside school can have different motivations. And if you come from for example, a football culture, you might still have to deal with people wanting to do drill and skill and very traditional ways of teaching kids that might not be aligned with what the school is hoping for, right? And I think it's very important that the recruitment can be effective, because there are many coaches out there that are really good coaches, but they just need to be aligned with the school philosophy.
Right. And I think that starts from the interview, the initial interview, to put it across, but it can't just end there, right? They can't say yes in the meetings and I understand and I'll do that. you got to go out and watch those first practices, or, help that first meeting with the team, be there, and just kind of edge them on. Thankfully, we have a lot of club coaches or local coaches at our school, but they've all been around for quite a while. So that would be it. Try to get someone who's, maybe not just one in and out, get them, invest in them in the long term. And then they're really just like part of your faculty. Great. All right. Well, we are getting close to the end of the show, but we need to do a school spotlight. Really cool portion of the show. Highlight one school. We've traveled around the world a little bit and saw some schools all over. And today we're going to travel to Dhaka, Bangladesh, and hear about AIS Dhaka. So let's go.
It's time for School Spotlight on Global Take, presented by School Rubric. Let's learn more about the stories and information from schools around the world. What's your school story?
Well, thanks, Nick, and a big thank you to Global Take and School Rubric for giving me a chance to talk about American International School Dhaka, the school that's a little bit out of the way from everywhere else. We're in the developing part of the world, so what you really need to understand is what you see today probably won't be there tomorrow. Everything from infrastructure, the economy, the city is always growing, and the school demographics are changing with it. It's a vibrant and exciting place to live. The first thing that kind of really puts us together is the community is what holds this school together. The community is why people come and why people stay. And there's two facets to that. Basically, our interactions with the local community and our interactions within the school. We have a lot of really strong programs that get out into the community. Our service learning programs, we have more than a dozen of them that really give kids authentic experiences in helping in crucial areas. And then with my athletic and activities program, we do a really good job of actually, we have to go out and find competition in the local community. And the picture you see on your screen is my varsity girls soccer team. They're playing the U16 Bangladesh national team. And that happens a lot with us, and it really strengthens our ties with the local community. And that community feeling, those shared experiences are what drive the spirit of our school, the spirit of AISD. And that spirit is togetherness. The school spirit of AISD runs throughout the program from our world-renowned, not world-renowned, but really appreciated pep rallies to a feeling of our drama program, and we did high school musical. We're all in this together. This spirit is really what kind of keeps everybody together and pushes everybody forward at AISD. Now, I told you we're part of the developing world, and it has everything that you would expect. It has the sound and the cacophony of noise, of rickshaws, of people everywhere. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about our neighborhood in Dhaka, because it's actually, if you look it up on the internet, you will not see what the teachers and the community go through every day. So our neighborhood is basically, the first thing is Dhaka is a great jumping off point for the rest of exotic places in this area. Our teachers go on long weekends and short breaks to beaches in Thailand, trekking in Nepal, diving in Sri Lanka, culture in India, and all the way to Oman and Jordan in the Middle East. That's as far as our SAISA region, our South Asian Inter-Schools Association region, basically stretches, and we take full advantage of that. But also within Dhaka itself, we're able to find ways to find peace amongst the chaos. AISD is situated in a diplomatic zone, and all of the teachers live within that diplomatic zone, which means we can walk to school. And so we take advantage of all the amenities at school: open swimming pool, open air swimming pool, fitness center, the performing arts center. All those things add to our neighborhood. And then even within the space of the diplomatic zone, for recreational and for social opportunities, there's a lot of expatriate clubs, and that's where a lot of the gatherings happen. We belong to the British High Commission and the American Embassy Club. There's a picture on the screen of my wife at the British High Commission. My favorite club, however, is a golf club, which is about 10 minutes away. Not a diplomatic club, but Kermatola Golf Club is very close by. Everything that we do as expats here in Dhaka is very easy to access and gives a very strong sense of wellness and togetherness. And finally, for my country, the country we're in, there's a few really important things that you should see if you come. We have one of the longest continuous beaches in the world, Cox's Bazar. And many of our teachers spend time going on adventurous trips to the border of India for mangrove forests where they might see a Bengal tiger. Or if they want a little mindfulness, they head up to tea plantations for some high altitude relaxation. So that's our little spotlight on our little area of the world. Thanks for taking a look with me. And if you're ever in the area, drop me a line and I'd be happy to be your guide.
Thank you for traveling across the globe with us to learn more about international schools. To hear more from international educators and learn more about these fantastic institutions, tune in to our live Global Take episodes as we highlight international schools in our school spotlight section presented by School Rubric.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, Mike. Great spotlight. I love the 3 words, and definitely a place that I need to get to when we can move around again. So yeah, that's gonna basically wrap up the show. I want to remind everyone to follow, like, and share, like I mentioned before. And there were some great questions that we added today and talked about, but there was a few more we didn't get to. Sorry about that. But we have a Facebook group that's focusing on discussions, and we can try to carry those questions over there, keep the discussion going. We'll see the slide for the Facebook group right here, hopefully, where you can join or contact us to share that. And this week is a special week for Global Take. We have a Sunday episode. You see it right there. So for wherever you are, maybe the nighttime on Sunday, May 9th. But if you're the East, it could be Monday morning, and you might want to join with a coffee if you're in China. So that's this Sunday or Monday. But rest assured, next Thursday, same time, same place, there'll be another episode on Thursday as well. So thank you, viewers. But most importantly, thank you, Megan, Thomas, and Mike for being here and chatting with me. It was fantastic.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Thank you.
Coaching conversations. It's what I live for.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, well, we'll have one soon, I hope.
Thank you for watching School Rubric on YouTube. Make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe in order to stay looped in on all of our diverse collection of shows, interviews, panels, tutorials, and more from educators around the globe. And visit us at schoolrubric.com for even more great content, such as our online articles, Interact magazine, featured podcasts, and more. Thank you.